Hi, everyone. Welcome to Embrace Live. I'm Larissa Williams. There's always a delay. There we go. I'm Larissa Williams. I'm your host, and I'm here with my special guests, Trish Robichaux and Jen Hine. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
We're kicking off the new year. You're the first guests of 2026.
Whoa, what an honor.
Yes.
Right?
I feel
well,
pretty
you're
special.
kind of not even really guests anymore. We're
regulars.
You're official.
Yeah.
They're a part of the panel of this. And I love it. And I thank you both for being here and just for bringing your wisdom to this conversation. And, you know, that is the whole point of why we do Embrace Live, is to have conversation and to open up dialogue that we might not normally have, or sitting down with people from different churches and to have these conversations, be watching for something that's going to be coming up in the next couple of months. But I'm just excited to sit down with you guys. You know, I said, you know, I've read the book of Esther. I know the players of the story. But digging into this, I have a really a deeper understanding of the book of Esther. Are you guys finding that too?
Yeah.
Trish?
Absolutely. I was just saying to Jen on the way in the building today, I've so appreciated this series. I've learned the book of Esther like I've never known it before. It's so motivating to read, but then to prepare to come and discuss it with you girls, and then add the little element of live fear, which, I mean, even if nobody watches, there's still that little element of live fear that just motivates you to really try to understand what am I reading, how do I apply this to my life, what would I share about this story. So I've so enjoyed it. Thank you, Larissa.
Yes, we appreciate your leading us through
Oh,
this.
well, it's such an honor, like, to sit down with you guys and to just, like I say, to have you bring, everyone, I believe, has a different perspective. And I think it's so important to surround ourselves with people with different perspectives. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. And so I'm learning so much just sitting down with you guys. So thank you for being here. How's it sound? Our sound guy.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
He says we're good. We were kind of testing earlier. But we want to thank you for joining us today. Now let's dive in. We've had a couple of episodes. After we're done, I will share the link, because I do think you will get a lot, if you haven't seen the other sessions, to go back and have a listen to just the foundation that was laid in the book of Esther. And just to do a little bit of a recap, you guys, we know that Esther was placed for such a time as this. We know this, and that God had positioned her at a very important time in history. And that's what we're going to dive in a little bit more today, of the why she was positioned. And I don't know if I fully understood that until we get into this a little bit more today. But we know, I'm just going to read this briefly just to give you a little bit of a background. A vacancy had opened up at the very top in the king's household, and predictably, God has someone waiting in the wings to fill that vacancy. I want you to think about this from your perspective today, and maybe where you are in your life and what you're waiting and praying and asking God for this year in 2026, that God is already preparing the way, and he's positioning you for what he's called you to do and to step into. God had instilled 6 incredible qualities in Esther, and we unpacked this a lot in session 3. I'd invite you to go back and watch that. Esther was full of grace, restraint. She had a teachable spirit. She was authentic, gracious, and she had a humble respect for authority, which we unpacked a little bit. That's kind of missing in society today, that healthy respect of authority. And so that was a great conversation. Today we're going to dive into, we're reading this book. If you have an opportunity to, maybe you have it in your library already, or I found it on Amazon. I think you guys did too. Grab it, because it's so good. And we're digging into chapter 4 today, an evil interlude. Dun, 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 dun. And you know, I was wanted to say to you ladies, and maybe we'll just start right here, but suffering is something we don't often talk about. We don't like to talk about it. And yet it's something that all of us go through in life. And I think, why do you think there's an unknown kind of, you know, it's not necessarily communicated, but that suffering, we don't like it. And we almost think as Christians that we have that insurance policy that should protect us against suffering. And yet we know that it's through our greatest suffering that that's where our roots go really deep. Have you found that in your life, Jen?
Yeah, I think through suffering, for myself anyways, I do feel like there's level of perseverance that comes. And I think of James 1 that talks about we will encounter. Well, I had it open right here, but we will encounter hard times.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to it right now here. For you know that when your faith is tested, you endure. Your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. And we are promised that there will be suffering in this world. And I think some of the hard times that I've personally gone through, some of the things I've learned is to even acknowledge that it's a hard time. Because I
Right.
think sometimes we want to just stuff it down, or
True.
and so maybe that's a little bit of my history. And so acknowledging and recognizing this is really hard, and even bringing others into that,
That's so
allowing
good.
others into that, actually. Because I
That's,
think
yeah.
for me personally, even the last few years, I've noticed there's been a season where I was keeping a lot in, and it was almost an inner suffering, and I've actually been intentional. Even yesterday, I had a couple friends over, and I was like, I need to share some things with them, and it was a choice. I could have held it in,
Yeah.
but it felt like an inner suffering.
Oh,
Weird.
this always happens. Or we
It's
have
still going.
we have sound but no picture. So
Okay. Wow.
I'm gonna go out and come back in because we have no picture on our live. Hold that thought, Jen. I'm gonna come back
Okay.
to you. If you're live with us, just bear with us. I'm gonna exit. We'll pop back up.